What's up, everyone? Welcome into More Important Issues. More Important Issues is brought to you by our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, and Blue Water Climate Control. And here's a quick word from our good friends at Blue Water Climate Control.
People always ask, where did we get the name Blue Water Climate Control? When a Navy ship casts off lines, exits the harbor, and loses sight of land, that's blue water sailing. It takes a team of people to do that. Tireless work, focus, and attention to detail. So much of starting a business is just like that. After it's done, you get filled with deep satisfaction for accomplishing something. And it's quickly followed by, now the real work begins. We're Blue Water Climate Control.
Balls are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Bottom by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch. Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre, and Tennessee can say hello win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of More Important Issues. It is Sunday, July 25th. It is great to be back. I know it's not a whole lot going on. What's up, Credence? Good to have you in as always. Go ahead and get those, drop those questions in the chat. Let's get going with. We talked about last episode. We're like, hey, whatever y'all want to talk about, let's do it. This is a great time. In fact, I sat down on some. Well, have you watched any of the Olympics? I guess is my first question.
I haven't. I've kept up with the basketball team because that's hilarious to me.
The timing of it sucks. They played late last night. I fell asleep watching the swimming events last night. Can't stay up quite as late as I used to be. Not as good as I once was, if you will.
There you go.
So yeah, I fell asleep watching some of the swimming events.
When's the track start?
I believe it might start Monday. I think it all kind of culminates next weekend though. None of that too exciting. For some reason, NBC is infatuated with beach volleyball. A lot of beach volleyball has been on. I've been watching a whole lot. I'm also not into skateboarding. I know it's a big deal because it's the first time in the Olympics, but not into it.
Yeah, it just seems kind of there's not a lot of hype to it.
I also just don't get it. Like, I don't understand scoring point. I can be like, yeah, that was cool, but I don't know if it's a hard move. I don't know what the points are worth.
I'm just talking about the Olympics in general. I feel like it's usually like a big event, but yeah, for some reason, a lot of people just aren't as bought in as usual.
Well, I think what sucks is the years that it's like 12 hours ahead. That's when it really sucks because you can't. Everything's going on really late at night. Yeah. So it's not. Yeah, it's definitely not as good. Like I remember, I think it was. I mean, obviously they had it on live, but I think when they had it in Korea last, I think they also ran it during the day. But by that point, everybody had either heard about it or seen highlights or watched it live. So it was like when they were running the big events in midday, you were like, I don't care.
Right.
I don't know. But I was thinking about it today. I was like, man, we were talking about last week how lucky we were with the NBA being pushed back. So you had the finals. You still had what else was happening last week that we're like, we have plenty to talk about. I guess the MLB draft was still fresh. So people were, I don't know. It's like we got lucky this year with how things kind of got extended. So now we just have like 3 weeks. Well, I mean, really, if you want to, we talk high school football on this show. So really just a few weeks until football kind of gets going. So not too long of dog days of summer. We got lucky this year.
Yeah, and scrimmages are starting to start up. I think the Jamboree will be 2 weeks from Friday, so
in Nolen,
2.5 weeks. Yeah. Football is right around the corner. It's wild. Thanks for baseball for getting us this far into the summer.
Yep.
So we don't have too long to go without a ton of content. So
it's
gonna be fun.
We had SEC Media Days, which I don't know if you want to call it sports or not, but at least gives you like somewhat more to talk about. I don't know.
A lot of coach speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you only get so much from it, but I guess it is a talking point, so that helps. Credence asked this one, Landon, probably Credence asked, do y'all have any Tennessee autographs? I actually, like, currently owned, I don't have any. I'm not a big, we've actually discussed this, how I'm not a big autograph guy. You're not a huge autograph guy. You have some. I had some like growing up. I had a football with like the 98 team that it was signed by the 98 team.
That's cool.
I don't know which brother has it now, but we had it at the house. That's really like the only one I remember. I've never been big autograph person, so I don't know if you have.
I don't know
what all you have.
A happy birthday from Peyton Manning when it was my first birthday, and my mom worked in the bookstore at the time, and he signed that for me. It's on a little piece of paper. I got Peerless Price.
What month was that? Was it February, or did she just have you write happy birthday and store it away for a couple months?
I think it was in February at that point. Maybe it says to Landon, so like it was in my dad's office for a long time. But
right, but I'm thinking she just
it says my name on it, so like I kind of have to take it with me.
No, I'm just thinking. Oh yeah, no, for sure. I was kind of thinking like maybe she saw him in October and was like, "This would be a great birthday gift."
Maybe she did. I actually don't know. I didn't even realize like I always just thought it was a picture until I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I was like, "Oh, Peyton Manning is actually somebody I need to pay attention to as a small child."
Like this autograph is kind of cool to have.
Yeah. But yeah, Peerless Price. I got Tony Vitello. I got Garrett Crochet, Luke Hoshaver. I got a Mariano Rivera. It's not Tennessee, but that's probably that's a really
that's fair. It does say Tennessee autographs. I didn't realize that. I guess I read it, but I wasn't paying attention. And then he also asked what jamboree. It's the KIL, the Knoxville area jamboree. They used to play it at Nolen for years and years and years. Got away from it recently. And shout out to Philip Fulmer. Is that the best thing he did in his tenure as the AD?
Nice.
That's pretty cool. I'll give him that.
I mean, John Curry pulled off more in his tenure as an AD than Fulmer did, if you're looking back on it.
I mean, are you just assuming? Well, John Curry, did he bring Lady Vols back? Are you giving him that?
Yeah, Lady Vols and Tony Vitello.
Yeah, I mean, I would say right now, yeah, I would agree with that. You love to see it. You love to see it.
At least, I mean, he got something, I guess. He brought. I think that's a really cool thing to have high school players get to experience playing in Nolen Stadium, even if it's not the same atmosphere. You're kind of all pressed into one side of the stadium.
No,
but yeah, it is really cool to see.
I mean, I've never.
We got to do it.
Yeah, I've never bought, and I mean, it was obviously a really cool experience, and I just think it ruins the field, or they can't get the field back, is just a pretty overrated thing. You play, I mean, in total, like 12 quarters on it, maybe, and it's running clock, and
you're giving those college students that major in artificial or whatever it is, turf management. Yeah. You're giving them something to do.
Exactly, and it's not like it's in like December, November when it's like you really got to take care of the grass. Like it's in the best time of the year for that grass, so it's fine. It's not a big deal. So yeah, that is cool to see. We are going to go ahead and dive into the show. Like I said, drop those questions. We'll talk. We'll do it. But we're going to go ahead and jump in. We're going to talk some roster. Some of the big transfers. Tennessee maybe benefits from transfers this year. I mean, I think at certain positions it's definitely true. How much they benefit, obviously, to be determined. But they're going to have to, because you only can sign 25 guys anyways in total, and you don't have a lot on the roster. So you really did have to kind of go out and try to get as many immediate impact guys as you possibly could.
Yeah, and they added quite a bit. I'll kind of read off that list a little bit. Dejon Terry, Juwan Mitchell, Javonte Payton, Caleb Tremblay, William Mohan, Joe Milton, Hendon Hooker, Kamal Haddon, Brandon Turnage, and then Chase McGrath is the kicker from USC. So quite a bit of transfers. I know a lot of it had to do with you had to replace a lot of the guys you lost.
Probably more than a normal year, you're going to see.
Right. But yeah, so definitely some impact guys in there. Some guys that have multiple years of eligibility. They're not just one and done. And I think that was big for Josh Heupel and the staff. Now there is some like one and done. I think Hendon Hooker
Yeah, I think he might be
and I think Javonte Payton and Caleb Tremblay is as well.
Yeah, and like I mean, obviously you like to get guys that are going to be here longer term than 1 year, but at the same time, it was also just you need physical bodies at this point, so you had to go out and get some guys, and I think they did address. I mean, I don't know if you even could have addressed all the needs you.
Yeah, there's no way. You'd have to replace like your whole entire roster.
Right. I mean, I like the Brandon Turnage and Kamal Haddon. Those at defensive back. I think those are going to be immediate impact guys. Not that they'll necessarily start because I don't know if they start, but I think they're going to come in, get playing time, make an impact on that defense. I mean, those I think are.
So who is your biggest impact guy?
Well, I was about to say before last week, I'm just running with our listeners here. Somebody came in, just hopped in. I don't remember who it was and was just like, dude, Joe Milton, I saw some iPhone video from a balcony and he's going to win the Heisman. And so now I'm like, I'm all in on Joe Milton. It doesn't take much to get me on board. I heard that from a random guy that I think had a burner account on Twitter, and I'm in. Signed, sealed, delivered. Like Joe Milton for Heisman. I think he might be the biggest impact guy. This is all me pretty much talking out of my ass just because someone said that last episode. But I
want to know where
from
a balcony did you see Joe Milton throw? Because
I don't see, again, there's so many plot holes in this. He said like the fraternity park, one of the balconies. I need to look at like Google Maps. I can pull that up in a second. But what I was going to say is if he had told me this in April, I'd have been like, shut your mouth. No. But he said it so close to football season. I'm in. I'm sold.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Milton, there you go. That's your
biggest.
I
don't know who your biggest impact guy is. That I think is a good question. I think it's probably gonna be Juwan Mitchell. It's probably your biggest impact guy because he fills a need.
That's your brother, right?
An experience. Yeah, we're actually we're related in the form of the way Wes Rucker does it. So, could you imagine if I said I was related to everybody with the last name Mitchell? I mean, I guess it's possible. I'm not willing to say no, but he does fill an immediate need. He has a cool last name, but he also brings experience. Like it's not when you say fill an immediate need. Like if I went in there and was listed as a linebacker, I guess I could technically be filling an immediate need. But he does it. He brings in experience and I guess veteran leadership. Like he's played at a high level and performed well at a high level. So not that I think he's going to be better than Henry To'oTo'o because to be determined, but I do think it adds a lot to your defense.
Yeah, I think so too. Just because of what you lost, I think he's probably the most productive. Like you said, he's done it in another league before at a Power 5 school. He's actually ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, actually, he's done it at an SEC school. So.
Yeah, he's ahead of the curve. He wanted to play in the SEC like now and not wait a year or so whenever Texas actually does it. So, yeah, I think he had 62 tackles last season in a shortened season. I think I looked up Henry To'oTo'o. He had 76. So, I mean, around the same, I guess. So I think that's good to see. Those numbers very similar. And Henry To'oTo'o was Tennessee's best defensive player last year. I don't think there was any real doubt about that. Maybe Bryce Thompson makes a case, but yeah, I mean, you're a guy that's going to play on Sundays. You're looking at Henry To'oTo'o.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to get a guy like Juwan Mitchell. I think that's huge. That's probably my most productive. But biggest boost, I think, for me, and maybe you can argue Juwan Mitchell is, but I think Dejon Terry is. Just from what, from a pass rushing standpoint, what you lost, I think it's going to be tough to replace those guys. So I think if you can do it in the interior, that's something to say. And I think Dejon Terry could really be a big boost for this team. And I think it's a guy that Rodney Gardner knew. And, I think when you look at this staff and it's those people that they brought in, I think they got a better chance of playing right away. And that's kind of the same for Joe Milton as well. But, yeah, I really like Dejon Terry from the looks of him. He's just big. Like everything about him is big. And I think that goes a long way in the SEC.
Right. Yeah, he is big. I'm not a Joe Milton truther. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times. I don't know if people are just saying it to say it. about how he looks like he might be the best. I mean, from what you've seen of him, and I'm not talking about the practice field because I haven't seen any of that. Not a lot of people have. But what you've seen of him, I mean, he's not necessarily better than any other quarterback on the Tennessee roster. So I'm not saying he's going to be the guy. I don't know. I do think there's got to be something to him that Josh Heupel brought him in.
Yeah.
He's the only guy on the roster that Heupel's brought in.
Mm-hmm.
Hendon Hooker transferred in before Heupel had announced he was going to transfer, I think, before Heupel had gotten here. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that means anything. We'll find out. No clue. But
yeah, I think body type, he's definitely the most impressive looking. But you got to be able to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might need to go to the other need on the other side of the ball at linebacker with the body size he has.
The defensive end, he's that big.
Or defensive end. How fast is he? Can he? Does he got enough bend to get around an offensive?
I did have those. Hold on a second. Joe Milton, top max velocity miles per hour, 20 miles per hour.
Now, where are you pulling these? Where are you getting these statistics from?
So that somebody tweeted this. Maybe.
Was it Tennessee's who tweeted we're fast or
was it Javonte Payton? I think it was.
It may have been.
Yeah, because he was up there.
So Joe Milton's actually running around in practice a little bit. He's getting his steps in.
Yeah, there you go.
I think you would assume most quarterbacks are, listen, all the shit talk about specialists and what they do at practice, quarterbacks really don't do much more.
Hendon Hooker he was at 20.6 miles per hour. So he's a little faster than Joe Milton, but he's also a little smaller than Joe Milton.
I mean, I think I would have guessed Hendon Hooker was faster if we're doing that game.
Yeah.
He's what are they listed as?
But dude, something about Hendon Hooker. So they mentioned on SEC Media Day, it was Greg McElroy, I think, and who else was there? I don't know, somebody else. I forget who it was, but they said it's a 3-man race between Joe Milton, Harrison Bailey, and I thought, did they say Hendon Hooker? They might have said Hendon Hooker. I thought they left him out.
Okay, so they said they went Maurer or they went.
Yeah, I thought they said Maurer, which is weird because I don't think that at all.
Yeah, those probably wouldn't be my assumed top 3.
Right, but does that give Hendon Hooker? Maybe he's the guy.
If it's a 3-man race and Hendon Hooker wasn't mentioned, I'm going to go with he's not the guy.
I'm going to go with so it was just them talking about the quarterback. I feel like they don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
I don't know what they – I don't know what they know. I wouldn't pick him. What we know right now.
If he was in my top 3, he'd be number 3.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. That's pretty much what I was saying. So,
yeah.
I agree with that. The innocent culprit asked, have you all heard about the kicker from Europe?
Nope, but I'm intrigued.
Tennessee?
Is he going to rugby style kick it?
What's rugby style?
Or I guess
drop
punt
kick?
it. Yeah, you're gonna drop kick.
Is he a rugby punter? I
don't know.
Rugby punting style was a thing for a few years, and then everyone quit doing it.
Stop.
There's no one that rugby style kicks anymore. And I don't mean necessarily in how they hold the ball, because a lot of punters have found out different ways to drop the ball to get different either spin on it or launch angle and stuff. I mean, we're the one where they roll out to the right and then kick a line drive down the field. You used to see it for 3 years. Every team did it or had that in their arsenal. I've not seen anyone do it in a long time. So
I've not heard about a kicker from Europe. I'm intrigued though.
No, I don't know. Credence asked, he wasn't here last time. Did we talk about Texas and OU? We did. We'll talk about it again real quick. We will do an overview of last episode before we get in. I personally think, I know a lot of people are it doesn't help SEC, it doesn't help OU Texas. What's the why? I think it helps both parties involved. I also have a conspiracy theory that I'm sitting on until we know more information, but I'll go ahead and give you the gist of it. The SEC is trying to break away from the NCAA. That's my conspiracy theory. And a lot of you all are probably like, Caleb, you're crazy. If a conspiracy theory was saying, it wouldn't be called a conspiracy theory. It'd just be called just like a fact. So it's got to be a little insane to classify it as conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that too. I think they're just trying to overpower the NCAA, but I feel like they're going to do the exact same thing as the NCAA.
No, yeah, it's like what we talked about. They're like going to reinvent cable.
With streaming.
That's what we talked about there. I just, I do think I don't know if I mentioned this on the show. I think the SEC is like, if we're going to have a 12-team playoff, we might as well just have like a SEC season.
Because if we're being honest, I mean, Greg Sankey has made some very questionable decisions in the last couple of years
regarding
like the transfers and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's another thing is like I don't know, and
so it's not like I feel so much better in his arms than I do the NCAA.
That's a fair point too. Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily better. I do know that college football. I was like talking to somebody. The format of college football, and I know I've mentioned on the show, it's just so stupid. Like it's the dumbest format of any league of anything, any sport of any league of any country. It just makes no sense, and it's dumb, and I stand by that. I'll watch it.
64 teams, right? We should do that.
A 64-team playoff?
Yeah.
No, I'm very against that.
I mean, does it not feel like that's where it's going to end up? If we
I don't think I think the largest it's going to get is 12 teams. I think if anything, you talked about reinventing cable. I think it'll go. If anything, if it changes past 12 teams, I think it'll go back to the BCS style.
Okay. Yeah. Just go back to it.
And
circle of life.
100%. I'm not saying the BCS is better. I don't know if a 12-team playoff will be better. I don't know if you can fix the current structure that is the NCAA. But I don't know. I don't see it getting past 12, especially. I don't know how you would, because that's, what are you up to, 17 games now? If you're college champion, if you're the full college football playoff champion, 17 games.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that helps with the NFL injuries, maybe, or maybe people don't even make it to the NFL.
Maybe. Yeah,
that's many games in college.
No, I think that's a lot of people's concern, and maybe that too is maybe the NFL just goes to like year round. They just play every week.
I mean, if we're talking about CTE and all that stuff, playing more games is not helping that at all.
I feel like CTE is kind of faded out. Like I haven't heard.
Okay, you think COVID took its place?
Yeah, 100%. I just haven't heard people like mention it. Like no one's like CTE advocate anymore.
I'm not joking about COVID, by the way. Okay, I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying.
I threw a COVID joke out there today. It's okay, sort of. Did you see the mask I tweeted out that they were wearing at the swimming on the on the podium? I didn't know. Like
it looks like a jock strap.
I think it looks like Bane's mask, kind of.
I'm Bane.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then I tweeted out the guy wearing what I assume are his ladies' delicates. I don't think they're his.
Nice. Good for him.
I just love the idea that he's like, I should wear this into the store. Even as a joke, it seems a little weird.
Pretty hot.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I am a fan. I'll tell you, I think if the SEC adds good teams, and I'm not an SEC, I don't cheer for other SEC teams just for conference. If I'm cheering for another SEC team, it's because I either hate the team they're playing, or I think it could help Tennessee in that season.
Or you bet on them.
Or I bet on them. Yeah, that's the new one this year. Yeah. So it's not just like SEC prod for me, but I think if you're adding good teams, then I think it's good for the SEC. Like if the SEC went out and tried to add Maryland, what the fuck? Like that's stupid. But like if you're adding a consistent playoff, contender, and then you're adding a team that's been at the top of college football. I mean, they're the Dallas Cowboys. I know they're in Texas, so yes, but they're the Dallas Cowboys of college football. Like whether you like it or not, whether they're good or not, they're going to be talked about. Yeah. And so I think adding them is a positive. And we can rag on Missouri. Like did the SEC adds a good team in Missouri? Probably not, but they did play in Atlanta the first 2 seasons they were part of the SEC. So it's kind of hard to really bash on them.
Right. Yeah, like if we had Missouri and Texas A&M, there's no reason why Oklahoma and Texas we're not the Southeastern Conference anymore.
No, we've been past that since we added Arkansas. We
Right.
said it like, south of the Mason-Dixon line, east of the Mississippi is the Southeast. It's very, very simple. Once you added Arkansas, that was gone.
Yeah.
Once you added Missouri and A&M, it was definitely gone. I don't know what you rename it. Maybe you just name it the SEC and you don't have like what it stands for. People are like no, it's not the South. It's not the Southeastern Conference. It's just the SEC. That's it.
I think they should do it kind of like the Washington football team. It's like
Okay.
the conference or just something.
I actually like that. I do like that.
The conference. What are you going to do about it?
I think those are your two options. You either just drop Southeastern Conference and just SEC. And it's, is it confusing? Maybe. I don't know. Or you just go the Washington football route and you just the conference. Actually, I think that's kind of that's a dominance move to the
Yeah, I mean, if it's true, like they were reaching out to more teams, which who knows? But yeah, that would be the only option. You can't be like, oh, the South Conference, because I mean Kentucky is not really considered South, or really, right?
It's Appalachia. Come on. Well, I guess there's a lot of northern Appalachia areas too. I don't know. I would consider it the South.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I mean, you're not reaching out to Michigan and calling it the South.
Right. No, it's long past.
And actually, maybe the South Conference, maybe that's not a great.
I don't know. I'm kind of for it.
Route.
We talked about the Dolly Parton, and you just split them up in the North and the South, and you just go at it like the Dixie Stampede. That's first off, Dolly Parton should be involved somehow. I don't know how, but she figured it out. Did you see
like the NCAA Volume 2?
There you go.
They just go right for it. Like, hey, this is what we're going for.
I like it. I mean, you're going to reinvent cable. Let's be honest. If they do that. But I do want to talk about our opponents. But before we do that, speaking of Dolly Parton, did you see her for her husband's birthday?
Oh my God.
Dude, she's hot. Dolly Parton's hot. Like I've always been a big Dolly Parton fan. She was hot. She is hot. She'll always be hot.
Props for her husband, dude. I mean,
good for him.
He's doing something right.
Everything, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, to get her to do that and then post it out to everybody, congrats on the sex, man.
You think they had sex?
Oh, yeah.
It was like his 80th birthday.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they tried. I don't know what actually happened. I kind of don't want to know what actually happened, but yeah, they definitely tried.
I agree.
So been saving it up. They haven't done anything for a year. They just once a year kind of thing at that point.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive, to be honest. So
yeah,
can't hate. I can't hate.
Going back to the transfers before we move on a little bit, I did want to mention kind of two guys I'm kind of intrigued about to see kind of how impactful they are, and that's Brandon Turnage and Javonte Payton. Javonte Payton, we've heard his speed is perfect for this offense. He's been in the SEC, but I just don't know how many guys are going to touch this football in this offense, because you got guys like Velus Jones, Jalen Hyatt are obviously two guys that are going to start. Who's that third guy? Is it Javonte Payton? And then if it is, how many targets does he actually get?
Yeah, I don't know how impactful he can be. And two, right now, you don't know if you have a quarterback that can get the ball to them.
Correct. Yep. And then Brandon Turnage, I mean, we haven't really he didn't have a ton of looks at Alabama. Didn't play a ton.
Right.
And so, he's a guy that we've heard got on the field at Alabama somewhat, a lot during special teams and stuff. I know Tennessee's a lot different talent-wise right now due to our, previous staff. But, yeah, he's intriguing because I think you have a lot of room in that defensive backfield where a guy can come in and kind of make an immediate impact, even if he doesn't start.
Right.
We saw D'Amico Slaughter start the first game last year and didn't do anything after the fact.
No, for sure. And as far as the special teams goes, I mean, adding guys that can play special teams right now is big because you don't have a ton of depth. So getting more bodies in there, whether Turnage plays a ton on the defensive side of the ball, makes an impact. If he can give you plenty of quality snaps and special teams, you also need those guys.
Right. Yep.
Any more transfers y'all think could go land? Teddy Arnold. Ask that.
I mean, this year, no. I don't think you add any more.
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible this late. I'm sure there's some people looking, but I don't know. But we'll see. And then Credence asked real quick before you go into football, any more baseball transfers?
I mean, I think you could maybe add one or two, and kind of see what happens. I feel like the big one was McCormick from West Virginia, the catcher.
Yeah.
That was big to get. You saw Pavoloni sign today with the Baltimore Orioles. But yeah, there's not like getting Luke Lipsius and getting that transfer in, getting some guys in the bullpen. You got a couple starters in there from the transfer. I don't unless it's like a really good middle infielder, third baseman. I just don't think there's a lot of holes in that. And I'm not saying those are really holes. They're just not. I don't know like the for sure guy that's going to start in that position, but they do have some guys on that roster that are capable of playing at those three positions.
Yeah, no, I that's kind of thing is like are there guys out there baseball could add? Probably so.
And the good thing, Tennessee's in a really good position where guys are going to reach out to them to want to transfer in. They're not having to go out of their way to find a kid, kind of like Josh Heupel has had to do. Ross Kivet told me if I was at Tennessee, I could, kind of recruit from my couch because, kids want to come here. Kids want to be a part of that, a team that just went to Omaha. So, yeah, I think they could maybe add one or two more guys, but I think they're pretty set right now, unless somebody came along, obviously, that was just a take anywhere in the country.
Right. Absolutely, which is a good spot for Tennessee's roster to be in. Graham, we'll get to your question after football. He's got a question regarding basketball. I'll hang on to that. I saw it talked about a little bit this week, but I do want to jump into football because we got, I know, kind of a longer topic. We'll run through it though fairly quickly because I know we've kind of talked about it throughout the the off season, and of course we will during the season. But we haven't really talked about. We talked about opponents and kind of where Tennessee could finish. But haven't really talked about where maybe opponents will be when Tennessee season. And me and Landon kind of we talked about this for about 30 minutes on Saturday together. So wanted to talk about it on the show because I think there's some like intriguing parts to not just Tennessee's schedule, but also the SEC East and I guess the SEC as a whole. But run by these games.
Might have lost Caleb in there.
And no really. I guess he should just go flat out win those games. I know some people are going to make that Kentucky fan out. Unfortunately, first, never arguing on the internet never does anything. I don't know why. Some people just get me stuck. I was arguing with a Kentucky fan today, and I felt like I was just saying the same things over and over again.
That guy was a moron.
Yeah, he was just like, your expectation shouldn't be to beat Kentucky. I was like, we've gone 3-7 in the last 10 years. Why should my expectation not be to beat Kentucky? What are you talking about? And I pretty much just kept saying that over and over because
and they haven't beat us at home since '85. So yeah, that's absolutely the expectation.
Yeah, and I kind of want to go into that when we talk about Kentucky because they're also not that good. Like maybe their team's better than Tennessee's this year, but a lot of teams are better than Tennessee this year, so it's not much to brag about. But a team being better than a program is just two totally different things. And if you don't understand that, then I shouldn't talk to him. That's my fault. I fell in a trap. But I do want to, I guess I'll just kick off with Pitt because Tennessee should beat Bowling Green. Bowling Green's probably one of the worst teams in the country this year. So Tennessee should be 1-0 going into Pitt. Should be 1-0.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Pitt's going to be a really, really good team. I told you that I was reading an article and apparently Pitt historically just doesn't have great starts to the season. Well, last year they went 3-0 and one of those wins was against Austin Peay. They beat Syracuse and number 24 Louisville as well to kick off the season. And then finished strong. Their middle was a little shaky. But as far as starting off last year, what I told you on Saturday, that was absolutely not true. They did start 3-0. I don't know what that means for this game. But I do know they have a returning quarterback in Kenny Pickett. They have their leading rusher who had not a ton of yards on the season, but finished against Georgia Tech last game of the season, 247 rushing yards. They returned their best wide receiver probably in school history at this point. And then their defense ranks second in sacks with 4.5 per game. So it's this team's going to be really freaking good. And I just don't know what Tennessee can do to beat them. As far as we don't know anything about Tennessee, I guess that's a positive. Could be a positive. We don't know anything about Tennessee, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean that. When you don't have a lot of tape on somebody, that's probably the hardest thing. Like that's probably the only thing working in Tennessee's favor is there's not a lot of tape to really go off of. So early in the season, Tennessee has the advantage. They're also playing at home. So I think that helps a lot. But yeah, both these teams should be 1-0 going into that second game of the season.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of see. I mean, that's the first real test. I mean, you said Bowling Green's one of the worst teams in the country. Yeah, it's like you're going against Tennessee Tech the first game. It is a Group 5 opponent, but
right.
It wasn't. When did we play them? Did we play them in 2015?
15 in Nashville.
In Nashville,
and they actually had one of like the better. That's not the right word. But one of the more efficient offenses in college football that year, or the prior year, I should say. I don't know where they finished at in 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they were pretty good. And they gave us a game, right? If I remember,
they scored. I remember they scored a couple points, but I think that was the year Tennessee's offense was. I mean, you had Kamara, Hurd, Dobbs, Malone, Jennings. Like they had so many weapons offensively, and that was still when the defense was pretty solid too. With Derek Barnett and Cam Sutton, and so not. I wouldn't say gave us a game. They definitely were better that year than they're going to be this year. So,
right.
They had I can't remember his name now, but I think he ended up. This may not be right. He coached, I think, at that high school in QB1 first season, where in Pennsylvania. What was that kid's name? You know what I'm talking about? He went to Wake Forest,
and he's at Gardner-Webb now.
Bowers.
Was
that okay? So his QB coach at that high school was the guy that played for Bowling Green in 15. I can't remember his name.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we'll just connection there for you. I also found out today that Jason Bateman played Pepper in dodgeball. Do you know that?
Pepper in dodgeball.
Pepper needs new shorts. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how
yeah.
Did you know that was Bateman?
Now I can see his face. Yeah.
I've watched that movie a million times. I've seen that GIF a billion times. Never knew that.
Yeah, I guess I didn't put it. But then, Jason Bateman, I feel like wasn't as big then as he is now. Obviously,
right? No. There's definitely no. But so just put two and two together. We're there.
There you go.
But I don't know where you, as far as what you stand on this Pitt team. I do know I mentioned that their defense was ranked second in sacks in the country, but they did lose 2 All-American defensive backs in Patrick Evans and Rashad Weaver. They do return their entire linebacking core. So
good Lord, good Lord, I almost said that. Did they lose anybody?
The only guys they lost in their defense were 2 defensive backs, and they were both All-Americans. So
okay, well, that's good.
No, it is good, and but,
I was waiting for some good news, Caleb. Holy crap!
No, that's what I'm glad we talked about this, because I would have felt better about Pitt if I had not looked at to see how they look this year. Them getting a sophomore in Jordan Addison that just had the best season since Tyler Boyd in school history. I did not realize. The good news is their offense is not incredibly efficient. So maybe that bodes well for Tennessee's style of play this year. But if you're going to ask me how Tennessee looks going into Florida as far as record goes, I've got Tennessee at 2-1. I don't think they beat Pitt. We talked about maybe they get a game they're not supposed to win this year. I don't see that as Pitt.
That's kind of heartbreaking. We'll see. It's a nooner.
It is a nooner. That, and sometimes that helps home teams.
And maybe this helps. Maybe they get some.
No, that hurts home teams. Son of a. We beat Auburn in a noon game.
Ugh. We get some Johnny Majors love for this game.
Yeah,
maybe we get hyped up a little bit. Who knows?
That's even worse for it to be a noon game. We talked about how much that sucks. They're probably going to have some Johnny Majors tribute, and the crowd's just not going to be as great because they're going to be hot.
When they're going to start at 11 a.m., no one's going to be there.
Exactly. It's going to be a noon that Saturday. It's going to be in September. It's going to be so hot.
Yeah.
That's going to be miserable. Okay, so, everything I just told you and everything you knew before, Tennessee going into Florida, what's Tennessee's record?
It should at least be 2-1.
At least be 2-1. Okay.
And Florida should be 2-1. They play Alabama before us, and I think that's big to get them. Hopefully it helps. They're beat up a little bit coming out of that Alabama game, and I hope they don't.
You probably have Monday off.
Hope they don't end up beating Alabama because that would be unfortunate going into that next game.
Yeah, unless you get maybe get them on a hangover. You don't get them on momentum, maybe. But I'm with you. Looking at Florida, they are the reigning SEC East champs. But they, as far as going into Tennessee that year, they are going to have to play Bama just the week before. They also lost pretty much all of their production on the offensive side of the ball outside of running backs, but not like they rely much on the run game. But other than their 8 running backs that they have on their roster, they lost everybody production-wise. I think they lost 39 touchdowns last season.
Yeah, and it was probably Tony and
Kyle Pitts, and then Trevion Grimes.
Yeah, that was probably all like 30.
Yeah.
Would you say what was the number?
39, I think.
Yeah, that was Kyle Pitts probably had 25 of those. So
yeah, no, he. That's the thing is like they do have a lot to replace. I think Emory Jones is a good quarterback. Obviously he's not better than Kyle Pitts. It's hilarious. Dan Mullen, has that coach speak where he's like, there's a lot of passes he throws better than Kyle Pitts. Well, he's not better than him, or you would have started him. So
right.
Or maybe he's better than him, and Dan Mullen's going to look like an idiot this season. I don't know.
And also, Tennessee plays worse when we play the backup quarterback at Florida. So
that's a good point.
Maybe hopefully Emory Jones is the clear-cut starter, and we actually play them pretty well.
Yeah, and looking at this game, I don't have a ton of faith. I don't think Tennessee has the, I don't think Tennessee's going to have the performers or the depth. I do think this Florida team's not going to be great, but I don't know if I don't think they're not going to be great enough for Tennessee to make it a good game or even beat them. If you look at last season, I don't know. It's just what sucks about looking at all this is if Tennessee has a good quarterback, I feel like anything can happen as far as being in games.
Also, if Florida plays a tough road game in Tampa at USF, dude, they will throw out some road games in their own state of Florida. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like they're like, oh, we played this away game. We played this away game. It was in your own state,
right?
So all your fans can travel to that place. It makes no sense. I'm like, dude, play a real road game.
Well, USF and UCF have been begging for those 2-1s, so they're getting their 2 for 1. Let them have them.
Well, Danny White wasn't going to do that.
Right, he was 1-1. You're playing 1-1, which is incredibly stupid. But it goes back to the format of college football is incredibly stupid. So it's not really Danny White's fault, but it's stupid to say that you deserve that.
Yeah, I don't think you really deserve it. But also, I'm not doing a 2-1.
I would say that team has to do a 2-1 because, we talked about how road games, if Tennessee and Oklahoma play, for example, campus and campus, you make the same amount of money. I don't make the same amount of money bringing UCF to town as it cost me to travel.
Right.
So I'm not playing 1-1.
Yeah. Don't if you're trying to make your road schedule a lot, or your non-conference a lot better.
Florida's not doing that, but they don't want to.
Right. It's so stupid. When's the last time they actually played a Power 5 away team non-conference besides Florida State or Miami?
I would guess
when's the last time they've done it outside of their own state? It's probably never been done.
Florida's never played an away game non-conference outside their state. That's a bold take.
I literally think it's been like 25 years.
I'm sure it's been a while. I'm confident you're right in that it's been a while.
So dumb. I hate them so much.
They're unbearable. They're just everything about Florida sucks. Everything about Florida sucks. I will say this. I was talking about their running backs. This is a pretty crazy stat to me, how they don't care to run the ball. They've only averaged 130 rushing yards per game in the last 2 years combined. Yeah. Probably going to have to rely on that. And it probably gets better with a true dual threat like Emory Jones.
Right.
I think he's listed as a dual threat. He runs a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. God, that makes me nervous.
No, for sure. Tennessee's going to struggle against them. I mean, I have Tennessee, and everybody in the country should have Tennessee. If anyone doesn't have Tennessee, at least with one loss on the schedule going into Missouri, they, just like the people who picked Kentucky and South Carolina to win the SEC, they should go to jail immediately.
Yeah,
They're
what
insane.
was that about?
I don't know.
I need to look
no
at
idea.
it.
I don't think you can see who did it. I think they should make them reveal, though.
I was seeing who they play. I mean, obviously they played Georgia and Florida, but their West opponents are Auburn and Texas A&M.
Well, A&M's they're non-rotating every year.
So they play Auburn. I don't think they beat Auburn.
Kentucky gets the luxury of playing Mississippi State as they're non-rotating. But yeah, still. So Tennessee 2-2 is what I have them going into Mizzou. Landon sitting at 1-2, 2-1 or 3-1 or 2-2, something in that ballpark. I think this Missouri team, though, is going to be pretty freaking good. I don't know. So I was telling you, I was wrong in the sense of when they play Kentucky. So they play Kentucky the second game of the season. So Missouri could be 4-0 coming into Tennessee. Kentucky could be 4-0, I think, going into Florida, depending on who wins that Kentucky game, because both of them have incredibly easy opponents. Central Michigan, Kentucky, Southeastern Missouri State, and I did not write down their fourth opponent. Do you have it by chance?
Yeah,
I think
Boston
it's
College.
I was about to say, I think it's Boston College, since I didn't write it down.
Boston College gave Clemson a game last
That's
year.
true.
I don't know
That's a
who
good
they
point.
lost or anything really about them this year, but Boston College is kind of trending in the right direction last season. So maybe they run into a little wall there before they get to Tennessee.
Oh, 100%. Maybe it's possible. And that's, I think, so like after Florida, all these teams, what you think you know about them and what you're going to actually know about them by this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Missouri could be a different team than what we think about, like the Connor Bazelak or Tyler Beatty or Elijah Young. Maybe like you could find out who, what his impact, you'll know what his impact for the team is going to be by that point. And so like all the things that are on the preseason watches and stuff like that are pretty much thrown out the window by game 5. And I do think Missouri is going to be much improved. I think this is a game that Tennessee's not supposed to win, but I think it's a much more winnable game than Pitt is.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That might be a hot take.
I think Missouri doesn't Connor Bazelak was good as far as back half of the season, but they did lose to Mississippi State second to last game of the season last year. Like they did improve, but did they make a big step? I don't think so. I don't think their offense is just going to be an incredibly potent offense like, Pitt potentially has. Defensively, they really don't bring a ton to the table. I mean, it's going to be better than Tennessee's probably throughout the course of the season, but I don't think they're leaps. This kind of gets into that Kentucky debate. Are they a better team? Maybe, but not by a lot. And also Tennessee probably has more questions, but more talent at those question spots than Missouri.
And let's not forget, Tennessee beat Missouri last year.
That as well. And I will be fair to it and say it was before Connor Bazelak was the starter. His first starter that he went out and beat his first start, he went out and beat LSU. So obviously he can win games and he's a pretty good quarterback. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna be like they're not gonna be a force in the East. I think the bottom. I think it's gonna be Georgia and everybody else, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's probably true. A lot of that fight in the middle is probably going to be pretty hefty.
I think if Florida maybe just comes out of nowhere, they got to replace 39 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do that, sure, then they'll be competitive with Georgia. But I don't know if they can do that. I don't think they can do that, which puts them with everybody else, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if South Carolina ends up winning the SEC, I don't even know what I'll do. I feel like
we need a good bet though, since you just said that.
Yeah, like shaving my head wouldn't even do it justice. Like if they win the East,
that, though, but you should honor it, unlike you did that Jeremy Pruitt bet.
Yeah, didn't do that. Sorry. I got enough humiliation that year, so
yeah. See, I shouldn't have even let you try to make that bet. I should have made you do another bet because I was stupid. But
yeah. But yes, if South Carolina somehow wins the East, we'll figure out something to do.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I think this is a game again. Tennessee. I think this is one of Tennessee's more winnable of the not supposed to win games.
I'll get a bikini wax.
If South Carolina wins it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me.
And we can videotape it. Obviously, I want my stuff covered because you know we're a family podcast. My wife said no.
Well, sorry, he just made the bet, so can't go back on a bet. You can't go back on 2 bets. You've already gone back on a bet.
Yeah, I'll do that. If South Carolina somehow wins, I'll go through the pain of getting a. Is it if a guy gets it? Is it still called a bikini wax?
Yeah, I think you're waxing the areas for like wearing in the sense of a guy wearing.
Is it like a mankini wax?
Speedo wax I think would be the correct.
Okay.
Well, Speedo's a brand. It's like tissue and Kleenex. I don't know.
Mankini?
The point is you're getting hot wax around your junk. It's gonna be hilarious. So you're a 40-year-old virgin. It's gonna be awesome.
Scary. So you're actually cheering for South Carolina now?
A little bit, yeah. Big Beamer guy. Shane Beamer for president.
Also, like,
everyone's East.
Who is Shane Beamer?
I know who he is because his dad, kind of like Derek Dooley.
Right. But like, who is Shane Beamer?
I don't know. We can make fun of him in a minute though.
And I was
that team's terrible.
Today, like I could not think of the life of me who is Auburn's coach, and that was hilarious to me because I'm like, who is Auburn's coach?
I don't know who Auburn's coach is at all.
It's Harsin, I think, from Boise State. But yeah,
it is the guy from Boise State, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you his name.
Yeah, Brian Harsin, Bryce Harsin, something like that.
Something along those lines. I don't know. But after Tennessee plays Missouri, I don't know if you have anything you want to mention about Missouri specifically. You've already kind of threw out. Well, I appreciate you throwing out that Tennessee did beat them last year because people. I mean, that's another thing. Like Tennessee beat South Carolina and Missouri last year at the beginning of the season. I don't know what happened at Kentucky. I don't have a clue. I don't know what happened at halftime at Georgia.
Or halftime at Kentucky when we just let our defensive line coach go.
That game too was pretty weird. But yeah, Tennessee did beat Missouri and South Carolina at the beginning.
Like that Kentucky fan you're arguing with earlier, like we spotted y'all 17 points. And then we drove the field and ran it, I think, every single time except for one. I think we had an incomplete pass. And we ran it down your throats and scored a touchdown. Like we could have done that all game, but our coaching staff was just full of morons and just didn't do it.
That's another thing too. Like, do you really want to brag about beating Jarrett Garantano? Every team in the country has beaten Jarrett Garantano. The only person that couldn't beat Jarrett Garantano is Jeremy Pruitt, which is not shocking.
And
he couldn't beat a lot of people.
Auburn couldn't beat him.
They did actually last year.
Oh, they did.
You don't remember that freaking pick six from dang Atlanta that the dude ran back?
We were in Asheville for that, weren't we?
No.
Yeah, I think we
were. Were we in Asheville?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We're on a guy's trip. We watched it in some like Irish pub.
I don't remember that at all. Which, I mean, it probably makes sense, but I don't remember that at all. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Speaking of South Carolina. I forgot. Dude, last year sucked.
No, last year
was not fun at all.
No, never. Never. South Carolina, speaking of Shane Beamer and whatever they've got going on, this team, I mean, South Carolina is legitimately going to be terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're more depleted than we are.
I mean, I think I feel like I can confidently say this is one of those games. Just with the Tennessee roster, I'm scared to call it a guaranteed win or a game you should win is what I should say. But, I mean, you should, right?
Yeah, I mean, their quarterback this year played wide receiver last year.
Well, that, in the case of Kentucky, worked out a lot better for them. But, yes.
It's true. It shouldn't, but it did.
Right. It never should. I mean, that tells you how depleted your quarterback situation is, which goes back into, like you said, they're playing a quarterback or playing a wide receiver there. Yeah,
he did come in as a quarterback. I get it, but he wasn't good enough to beat out. Who was the quarterback
last year?
It wasn't Helinski because he transferred to Northwestern. It was a freshman. He came from Colorado State.
I don't remember. And are you going to look that up?
Yeah, I need to.
I can't remember, but they do have Kevin Harris. I'll give them that. They do have Kevin Harris.
But
But
is Kevin Harris going to be their starter? Because Marshawn Lloyd was going to be their starter until he tore his ACL.
Right. So he'll be back. I just don't know. Even like Kevin Harris, who's pretty solid. I mean, he doesn't do enough to like really move your offense a whole lot. Like, will he be impactful? Yeah, of course. Will he score some touchdowns? Sure. But I don't know if he's gonna
Colin Hill
going to win you games. Colin Hill. That's right. That's right. And then they did lose Shaw Smith, who was their
really
best
only
player. Wide receiver. Yeah, their best player totally, and their only wide receiver threat really last year.
Right.
So, this team's gonna be terrible. I think their defense returns like some of their impactful guys, but their defense wasn't good last year. So what does that really matter?
Yeah, I mean, they had a ton of people. I mean, we had a ton of people transfer out, but they also had guys that were just like, I'm out. So, yeah, I just think they're going to get the crap beat out of them.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think that
I just don't think they can score any points.
No. And I think that's what brings me kind of to Tennessee potentially having 4 wins before they hit what would be their toughest stretch of games throughout the season. If Tennessee has 4 wins after South Carolina, I'll feel a lot better about getting to 7 regular season wins.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were about to go bowl game. I'm like,
Oh, if we have 4 wins before South Carolina, I'll go ahead and say bowl game. That's Vandy and South
Alabama.
Right,
but I don't think we're actually going to get to play in a bowl game is my point.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But yeah, that South Carolina team is just awful. I need to look and see what their actual schedule is. I know they play, Troy. I mean, this may be one of those 3 and 9 years for them. Well, they do have Vandy, 4 and 8.
4 and 8, baby.
With one SEC win. Well, they have Clemson on the schedule, which as far as keeping rivalries alive, I would have killed that one a long time ago. Who cares? No one's like, man, I cannot wait for the Clemson South Carolina game this year.
Well, it used to be the other way around. I mean, kind of like the Tennessee Alabama. It kind of used to be the other way around.
I don't think there's ever been not like this.
Oh, no.
South Carolina's never been a title contender.
But when Spurrier was there, they were like a top 15 team year in and year out. They used to smack the crap out of Clemson.
Pull it up. I mean, yeah, but now you're playing the number 2 team in the country every year at minimum. That's where they're sitting at the worst.
I don't feel bad for them at all. We have to do the same thing. So
no, I don't feel bad for them. I'm saying I would have quit it a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Just like I wish Tennessee would drop the every year Alabama won. So they had a stretch from 2010 to 2013 where they won 5 straight. 2009 to 2013. Where they won
was that about when Spurrier was there?
Yeah, his last year would have been
Spurrier.
His last year would have been 15, I think.
Really?
I think so.
See, I was thinking
Butch Jones played him a couple times. Spurrier.
Visor guy.
He might have just played him twice. So 14 might have been his last year. I'm trying to remember. No, 15. 15.
Yeah, 15 was last year. Yeah.
15. Yeah, so they beat them 5 times in that stretch. But I mean, yeah, again, God, that's insane. Because Clemson won the national title in 16. They got beat by. I mean, that's just crazy. The trajectory of that program. That's nuts. Yeah. But that was the only really long stretch they had in recent history. In the early 2000s with Bowden there, Clemson still kicked their ass.
Yeah.
So again, yeah. I mean, whatever. Like you said, we have to suffer it too, but we don't have a choice, or do we? That should be our stipulation. We'll let Oklahoma and Texas in. Everyone's trying to get political. What can we get out of this? That's what we should do. They can come in, get rid of Alabama every year.
That's what I'm saying. If it benefits us that way, yeah, I'm all for it. But we're still having to play Alabama and then play Oklahoma and Texas too. No, hell no. I'm done with that. I don't want any part of that.
We'll get better one day, Landon. Don't hate it too much.
One day.
One day, eventually. Next one on
I'm
the
already
schedule.
getting gray, man. I mean,
I know. Next team on the schedule, Tennessee plays after South Carolina. I think of the very, very winnable game in South Carolina. Probably should win game. Ole Miss, which I think is going to be a very, very interesting opponent. They could be having a really, really good season to this point with just one loss to Bama, or they could lose to Bama and Arkansas in back-to-back weeks before they see Tennessee. I think it's going to be interesting what Lane Kiffin can do with this team. They did lose to Arkansas last year, and Arkansas only let them score 21 points in that game. So we talk about this high efficiency, high-powered Lane Kiffin offense. Well, speaking of Missouri, Barry Odom and yes, sir, said no, sir. I don't see Tennessee being able to keep up with Ole Miss's offense. But if you talk about, Florida, if they're coming off a bad week at Alabama, if you're talking about a team coming into Knoxville at 0-2 in the last 3 weeks or in the last 2 weeks, I like your chances better than I did before that.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is one of those again, like definitely take the over in this game, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, going to be no defense, but
D what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it could end like 50-48. Like it's gonna be ugly defensively, but it's probably gonna be exciting because there's gonna be a lot of touchdowns scored, a lot of plays made on the offensive side of the football. I just don't know. Like I think Ole Miss has the established quarterback.
Yeah.
So that probably gives them, in my opinion, the advantage in this game. But dude, I don't like watching them last year. I wasn't just like, oh yeah, they're going to be good in a few years.
No, I think they lost a lot offensively besides or wide receiver besides Elijah Moore. And then if you count Plumlee as a wide receiver, they kept him. So I think they did lose a lot there. But they didn't have just like a ton of speed. They didn't, kill you that way. They got a lot of guys open on deep balls because they just ran a really good offense. They weren't necessarily burning by guys. They were catching guys on their heels, which is what Lane Kiffin does. He sets guys up, puts them in positions to make it easy. So, yeah, I mean, but that probably doesn't favor Tennessee's defense at all for those situations.
Yeah. Got to be able to catch the football on the defensive side of the ball. And last year we could not. So, hopefully we're doing a lot of ball drills under Willie Martinez. But, yeah, I just probably think Ole Miss has the advantage there. Somebody at work told me this is the same guy who said we're going to go 8-4. He said Ole Miss is going to beat the crap out of us. I was like,
I don't know if Ole Miss beats the crap out of us, but I will call that one a loss.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't think they come in here and just mop the floor with us. I think from a talent roster standpoint, there's no way Ole Miss's roster is head and shoulders better than Tennessee's.
Agreed. I would agree with that, but I think their offense is going to do more than
Tennessee. They have the quarterback, and that's super important.
Yeah, and then at that point, I have Tennessee going into Alabama after the bye week not the bye week. Bye week's different this year. Normally the bye week, not the bye week. But I have Tennessee at 3-4 going into Alabama. Is that right? No, it is not the bye week. Not the bye week. Okay, it's the bye week next week. So I have Tennessee at 3-4 going into Alabama. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I feel like 4-3 is.
It's doable. I'll say that it's doable.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss, Missouri, Pitt. You got to get one of those games.
Go get one. You like to go get one. Okay, I like that. See if we can go get one. I don't really want to talk about Alabama any. So if you want to, they'll probably be 6-0.
They got a new quarterback.
7-0. Yeah, I will say this. Miami, I would say like any normal year, Miami has zero chance to get against Alabama. Let's bump that up a little bit because Alabama has so many questions going into the first game of the season. And I don't just mean player questions. They don't have Lane Kiffin or Steve Sarkisian, some of the best play callers in football calling plays anymore.
Yeah, I'm going with Alabama and the points. So
I think I would not – wait, you're going to take them to cover or you're taking the over?
I'm taking them to cover.
Do you know what the spread is?
It's probably like, what, 10?
If it's
13.
10, I might. If it's anything, I was gonna say if it's anything over 16, I'm out.
Oh yeah, I would probably agree with that. But yeah, 13 and up, I'm going for it.
13 and less.
Correct. Sorry. Yes.
Okay. I will take Alabama. I will take Alabama to win and the over. You can put the over at 300. They're going to hit it.
Yeah.
I will not. I don't think I'll touch the spread unless, like I said, it's really small.
Yeah. I still don't have faith in the ACC. I don't. Like
I don't think it's about that though. It's also about, and I get Nick Saban is like they're going to win. That's not what I doubt. But I don't think we're going to see the same Alabama offense that we've seen in the previous. And it's not about preparation. It's legitimately about the actual in-game play calling.
Okay.
Do you even know? I don't even know who their offense coordinator is. It was a promotion. I know that.
Oh.
It's not a rehab this year.
Is it? It's not Dan Enos, is it?
There's no way. Is it? Let me pull it up. But anyway,
it's Bill O'Brien.
Oh my God, they got Bill O'Brien. I thought they promoted somebody.
Where'd Dan Enos go?
I don't know. I didn't realize they went out and got Okay.
Yeah, I forgot that they did that. Yeah.
I will walk back that it's not great play calling, but I will not walk back that it's not Steve Sarkisian and Lane Kiffin.
Dan Enos is the OC at Maryland.
Okay. I was like, there's no way Dan Enos is the OC at Alabama.
Because he was the quarterback coach, right?
Was he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was the quarterback coach when
Interesting.
Tua was there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I still don't think Bill O'Brien's as good of a play caller as those two, especially at the college level. But definitely better than I thought they promoted.
So does that make you want to take the spread?
No, probably not touching the spread.
I didn't know.
Probably
if
not touching the spread.
Your mind.
I'll still take the over just because of the way Nick Saban plays the game, just like the guys like Lane Kiffin do it at Ole Miss, just like how Heupel wants to do it and score as many points as possible and see what happens at the end. So there'll be a lot of points in the game.
Yep.
There'll be a lot of points. There's no doubt in that. So going into Kentucky the next week, terrible Kentucky. In fact, the year the guy was like, we have an SEC Defensive Player of the Year in recent history. Well, the year that he was on your roster, you still lost to Tennessee. So if we want to talk about programs, like there's just, I don't know. I was running in circles with him, and I wanted to not respond.
And that was the year we lost. We lost to Vanderbilt.
We did lose to Vanderbilt that year.
And we lost to Georgia State. And we still beat Kentucky.
No. We didn't lose to Vandy in 19. We lost to Vandy in 18. But we beat Kentucky both of those years.
Yeah, I'm talking about when that was their best team ever. They played at home. That was in 18. We lost to Georgia State that year. But we beat Vandy.
18 we played Kentucky. 18 we played Kentucky at home. Yeah, that Hail Mary at the half. We lost to Vanderbilt. 19 we lost to Georgia State. Played Kentucky at Kentucky in Lexington.
Gotcha. So Georgia State was in 19. 18 was West Virginia was the first game.
Yeah, and that was
Josh Allen, Benny Snell.
Benny Snell was on 18.
Correct.
He wasn't on 19.
Okay. Josh Allen was
on 19. That was when he twisted Kyle Trask's ankle and tweeted back.
No, that was Cash Daniel. That wasn't.
That was Cash Daniel. Sorry. That was 18.
Josh Allen was the
18 was Josh Allen. 18 was Josh Allen. Yeah. Okay. Running in circles because we don't care about Kentucky. And like I was with that guy, they'll probably, I'm dead serious. Kentucky might be, there's potential. I legitimately think they could be like sitting at the same place Tennessee is, 3-5 when they get to Tennessee. They play UTC and UL Monroe, wins. USC Junior, toss-up. Miss State's going to score a lot of points. I don't know if Kentucky has an offense that can keep up with those many points.
I think they'll be 4-4.
So you think they get USC, that's your third, and then Missouri or Mississippi State? They don't beat Florida, LSU, or Georgia. They don't come close to beating them.
No, I think they probably beat Mississippi State. I just don't have a lot of faith in. I think Chris Rodriguez probably and their offensive line probably runs through Mississippi State.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I think Chris Rodriguez and that offensive line runs through Mississippi State. I think they win that game.
Didn't they lose? Oh, no. Well, didn't they lose a lot of guys on the offensive line, or did they return those? Is that the team that returns 4 starters?
They return, I think, one that was like an All-American. He was like a preseason All-American.
But, too, looking at the defensive side of the ball, they were last in the SEC in sacks, and they lost 7 starters.
That's true. Yeah, I just think they beat Mississippi State.
I do have them written down as 3-5 or 4-4. I'm going with they get, probably get USC, and then I'm thinking they pick off Missouri and Mississippi State 1.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, when I was talking about,
I like their chances to beat Mississippi State more than I do Missouri.
Yes, I would agree with that. I mean, I tweeted it today. I think Tennessee finishes probably 5th in the East, but has a chance at finishing above Kentucky at 4th. Whereas I think Missouri is probably going to just finish better because they're going to win probably more games than they shouldn't compared to Kentucky and Tennessee.
Okay. So Tennessee behind Florida, Georgia, and Missouri is what,
in my opinion, at least
4th or 5th.
Yeah.
God, it's still terrible, but
it's not good. I didn't say it was good. I didn't say it was good. I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth.
But yeah, man, I think Tennessee beats Kentucky. I just don't like it's Kentucky.
No,
I mean, we spotted them 17 points. We gave them it's not like their offense just scored on us.
If JG's not playing in that game, they probably don't. Kentucky probably doesn't win it.
Yeah, if you play Harrison Bailey like he plays the same way he did at Vanderbilt, yeah, you beat Kentucky that day.
Yep.
All right, who's next?
Georgia. We can skip this one too, probably.
Gross.
Georgia, like I said, it's probably Georgia and everyone else in the East. They do have a pretty tough schedule before they, Tennessee's. Obviously, I mentioned how I think I like Georgia being in the back half of Tennessee's schedule. Not necessarily think it helps Tennessee in a year like this year when there's a ton of question marks. Roster's not good. First-year head coach. But, they do play Clemson to open the season. I think that's in Atlanta. They do have they always play Auburn. That's their non-rotating. Arkansas was kind of a shock last year, and can they be a thorn in Georgia's side? Like I said, a lot of people want to talk about how college football is changing. It seems like Arkansas was kind of just physical with everyone last year, and at least made them competitive. If they can do that with some teams this year, could it make them competitive again? I don't see why not.
I mean, dude, their roster talent-wise is insane.
Georgia,
it should be them and everybody else in the East.
It's stupid. They do lose George Pickens. He tore his ACL in spring practice, but they still have Karius Jackson, Arian Smith, and then Eric Gilbert now.
And Darnell Washington. Yeah, they have that established quarterback, and I think that's going to make them, because that's been their downfall the past. Jake Fromm was good to a certain extent, but he wasn't great. But I think JT Daniels is a lot better than Jake Fromm was.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I just think overall quarterback wise, I mean, I think leadership and just the ability to win football games, that's kind of Jake Fromm just had that. But I don't think he did anything just spectacular. He also had 2 really good running backs too. And Nick Chubb and
right.
Who's the other one? Sonny Michel.
Did he just graduate? I can't. They have all those 8 running backs that have played in the last several years. I don't even remember what year they just
keep getting the best ones every year. Yeah,
right.
I mean, Branson Robinson. You saw him. He looks like a freaking Marvel character.
Yeah, that was stupid. I still don't believe it's real. I still don't believe that picture I saw was real. There's no chance.
All right, we got Vanderbilt.
South Alabama, obviously, between those two. And Vanderbilt to finish off the season. Vanderbilt is going to be terrible. I think there is a legitimate chance they've only won 1 game before they see Tennessee. And it's going to be either ETSU or UConn.
They'll probably be ETSU, but
they do play Stanford.
They're not beating Stanford.
No, I'm just saying they play Stanford.
Oh, okay.
That's a non-conference game.
Good for them. Is it on the road?
I think it's a home game.
No. I mean, at least they're playing a quality opponent. I mean, unlike Florida, at least Vanderbilt's got more balls than Florida. There you go.
I don't know how that's a weird game to get established.
It is weird.
Yeah, no clue how that happened.
All the private schools.
You say they'll beat or ETSU. I mean, ETSU might have more scholarship players than Vanderbilt right now after last year and that mass exodus. That might be real. I don't know.
That would be if they lost ETSU. Holy crap, that'd be hilarious.
I would love it. I mean, I'll obviously be rooting for
if I'm ETSU, that should be the deal. If you have less scholarship players, you have to come to our field.
I like that. I'm in. Sold. They also, their other non-conference game is Colorado State. So, yeah, they have a chance to win that game, but
mess with the Ram, get the horns, baby.
I would have I'd have them beating ETSU or UConn before I had them beating
Colorado State.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's just say right now, Vanderbilt would be lucky to win 3 games next year.
I was going to say, let's say that at the most they've won 3 games before Tennessee.
That's their ceiling. That
is their ceiling. That is their ceiling. Tennessee should keep it at 3. There's absolutely no reason to lose to Vanderbilt ever, pretty much, but especially this year.
Yep.
Especially this year. So we'll, of course, talk about all these games as they come up each week. I think it's fun to look at them before the season, like kind of try to decipher where teams will be. We've had, some of these interesting conversations on implications it could have in the East, where teams may sit. So where do you have Tennessee finishing? I know you said Georgia and everyone else. That's your opinion of it. So where do you have Tennessee finishing?
I think 4th is probably realistic. It's also hopeful, kind of, too.
I think it's a little hopeful. I think ceiling though, but you do have to have the right things fall your way. Unfortunately, you play Alabama, but Missouri's not rotating this year is A&M. Their non-rotating is Arkansas, I believe. Or no, that wouldn't be right. Their rotating would be.
They play Auburn, right?
So their non-rotating is A&M, and then Auburn's their rotating. So in that case, you're looking at like maybe Missouri chips kind of fall your way. If you beat them, now you have a chance to finish 3rd. So I think 3rd's more on the hopeful side than 4th, just because I think if you have to probably have things. I don't think Tennessee can go win enough games this year to just be outright 3rd. I think you kind of have to have things fall your way but I think it's possible. Again,
I think hopeful. Tennessee, like from going from the roster standpoint, they should have more talent than Kentucky and Missouri. Now they just got to have better quarterback. If they have better quarterback play, they're going to beat both those teams.
I'm not confident better roster than Missouri just because I don't know what Missouri has as far as and Tennessee lost so much this offseason. Tennessee lost so much. That's my only fear. Kentucky
recruiting wise, you should have the
last couple of recruiting classes.
Yeah,
I would say that too. And then Kentucky, they lost their 2 best players last year. They didn't really bring much back defensively. I just don't see how Kentucky could possibly be good this year. I'm sick about talking about Kentucky today.
Yep.
I hate Kentucky.
I get it.
I did it way too much. It's my fault. I'm an idiot. Okay. Graham said, please get my mind off women's gymnastics at the Olympics. I don't ever want to get my mind off the women's gymnastics at Olympics. So speaking of recruiting, Tennessee does have some big, possibly big recruiting news. Obviously, you've seen Walter Nolen trending Tennessee's way after not even making his top 8, and then he redid his top 4. Is that what he did? Top 5? And Tennessee did find themselves in that after a coaching staff change. More big news announced today that I don't know if it's been confirmed. It has been rumored, I guess, is the way to say it. Walter Nolen's
it has been. Mark Packer put it out there that he is enrolled at Powell High School.
Does Mark Packer have access to these reports, though?
I don't know. He said it, so I'm going to go off that. But yeah, it has been rumored for quite some time that Walter Nolen was headed to East Tennessee, where he was going to go to school. That was kind of up in the air, but it looks like he has found his home at Powell High School. But what Mark Packer said, he has yet to hit the practice field, so we'll see where that happens, or when that happens, and see him in a black and orange. But from a Tennessee standpoint, I mean, you got your name in the hat with the top 5. and then you got him right in your backyard. I mean, that's
Yeah, no, for sure. And looked at his name on Twitter real quick, so I need to share this take with you.
okay.
This is from Vols Picks. This is bad.
Can't wait.
He said Pruitt signed Rodney Garner back in December. So in all honesty, if UT gets Walter Nolen, it's because of Garner and Pruitt recruiting him last year.
Oh, so Jeremy Pruitt gets the credit.
Jeremy Pruitt gets the credit.
Oh.
Yeah, this is like he gets credited with this one. This is great.
Okay.
This is fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah, no. I don't think that at all. I'm
No, I
not
don't know
giving
how
Jeremy
many-
Pruitt credit for
I don't-
anything.
I don't know how any sane person can do that, especially after when Jeremy Pruitt was the head coach. He didn't even put Tennessee in his top 8. So that's a weird thing.
Yeah, and props for Josh Heupel and obviously Rodney Garner too for getting back in that one. I don't know the reasoning why he moved to East Tennessee. I know Marlon Walls, his coach at St. Benedict in Memphis, resigned as their coach. I don't know where he's coaching at or if he's coaching anywhere in East Tennessee, but Walter Nolen is here. And I think there was kind of, maybe some stuff up in the air about where he wanted to go to school and in what state. Cash Vol said Vols Picks is the worst part of our fan base on Twitter.
Oh, agreed. That's why I wanted to read off that really stupid take. I mean, all the tweets are stupid, so I guess I could just go read all of his tweets. But I did feel like since I searched Walter Nolen's name, and the only reason that one was at the top is because it had 4 quote tweets telling him how stupid he is.
Nice.
So,
but yeah, I think that's big. He's the number 1 player in the country per ESPN. I think 247 has him as the number 3, number 1 defensive lineman, and his high school has already been changed to PAL in 247. So,
oh, okay, wow,
yeah,
there you go.
But yeah, it's a 15-minute drive from University of Tennessee to the gates of PAL High School. So, pretty easy drive. I would be there probably every day, just checking in on him, seeing if we can do anything for him. Get him some NIL deals, maybe set up as soon as he signs that.
You mentioned how close the closest university was. Did you mention how close the closest McDonald's was? And then my question too is PAL also partnered with McDonald's?
No, but they have Bojangles. I think we moved up in the world.
Okay.
Bojangles is right next door, so I think we should just do the Bojangles this time.
Do they put those in the Bojangle boxes, or do they still use brown paper bags?
I think they have white paper bags.
Okay, so either white paper bags, or do they use the box that you get like your bow meal in?
You probably get more stacks in the bag.
I would think so too, and you can also roll the bag up, but a rolled up bag kind of looks like it looks suspicious, whereas like a box that says bow time on it, not as suspicious.
Yeah, and maybe throw him a couple bow rounds too. I mean, like let's keep that weight. He's 6'4", 300. Keep that weight up.
Give me $1,000 and a Bowberry biscuit, and I'll go to your school.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's that simple. Two Bowberry biscuits.
Already signed.
They're like 99 cents for 2, I think.
Yeah, just fax me the deets, and we're going.
Credits PAL. They're really hot on their recruiting show right now. They are the pipeline to East Knoxville. I've heard is really strong. Apparently Memphis now. So
yeah. I don't know how he ends up at PAL, but he is. I just like he's going to dominate. He's going to dominate 5A.
Fate.
Yeah,
you can't fight fate.
Absolutely.
Can't fight fate.
I mean, I was just watching his highlights
country.
today. There's not one person. There's not one. No, this is no offense to any kid in 5A in East Tennessee.
There's not a kid in the state of Tennessee that can block him.
Exactly. I mean, he's the number 1 player in the country. If you're blocking him, you should be up there in the top 10 probably.
And I don't mean like you blocking him with your guard and double team, and then your center that has to come over and help the double team.
And even that, I don't think it's enough. Good luck.
Yeah.
And also, like, I mean, what's going to happen with that? Because teams aren't just they're not going to let that go. I mean, they're going to do some digging in all this. We're going to see. It's going to be interesting.
I mean, here's my question. If you didn't catch him before, you didn't care to catch him before at TSSAA, you're worse than the NCAA. If you didn't catch him before, do you care to catch him now?
Yeah. I don't know. I will say this: if he doesn't end up at Tennessee, I think all the PAL coaches should be fired.
I'm with that. I'm in.
I mean, I just
I don't know what power that I don't know who we called to get that exact deal structured.
Right.
But yeah, I'm in.
The ball's in your court. I mean, their like school song is Rocky Top, right? Their fight song.
They do play Rocky Top as their fight song, which seems cheap to me.
But I'm just saying, like, if that's your fight song, you bring in the number one player in the country and he doesn't go to Tennessee, that's on you.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
This is all in fun. I actually like some of the PAL coaches, so this is all in fun. But yeah, like, that's on you. I personally will like campaign to fire you against you, even though if I'm going to campaign to fire you because that's
it's
your best. This is my team. I don't care about PAL. This is my team.
We're just doing business. This has nothing to do. I don't really know any of the PAL coaches. This has nothing to do with them personally. I frankly don't care what's going on, but it is fun to make jokes about how a kid from Florida via Memphis ends up at a school in Knoxville, Tennessee that's been accused of recruiting a lot. So if you don't expect me to run with that joke, you just don't have a sense of humor. So I'm sorry. It not only ended up at a school that is like advertises that they actively recruit the best talent in the country. You got a kid from there. Yeah. It's like Vanderbilt getting a kid from Alabama and being like, he just wanted to come here.
I mean, Andy thinks he's recruiter of the year. That's not true at all.
Actually, it's not even like Alabama. It's like Carson Newman getting a kid from Alabama. Not just a kid from Alabama, like one of Alabama's best players. I don't know what they offered him, like Jeff Bezos' rocket, Jeff Bezos' wife, but they offered him that to get him there. And then people are like, how did you get him? And then him being just like, he just wanted to come here. I don't know.
He showed up. Yeah.
His parents loved Jefferson City, Tennessee. They loved Carson Newman. They just wanted to come here.
I mean, I know there's some good things on Emory Road, but it's kind of wild. It's wild.
No, I'm in that East Knoxville crime page. I feel like Emory Road's posted on all the time.
Really? I'm not.
Well, it's also a really long road. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, a lot of ground.
Yeah. If you're on that. If there's a crime committed, the chances are it's probably on Emory Road.
Emory Road's a good assumption.
That or Kingston Pike. It's one of the two.
Yeah, exactly. Longest road or first road in the state of Tennessee, I think.
Oh, really?
First state road in the state of Tennessee. Something like that. I don't know.
There you go.
The tight end millionaire at Tennessee should be offering him an NIL right now. Agreed, Graham. Agreed. The PAL coaches should be working that deal out too.
Yeah, I'm saying this. Like, I mean, Walter Nolen could seriously, like, being the number one player in the country. If he came to Tennessee, he's already playing at PAL. You know, a lot of people are going to be there to see him play and watch him play. There's going to be a lot of money to be made at the University of Tennessee. That's my recruiting pitch to Walter Nolen. I don't know if he's listening.
I've got a spin zone for you then. For all you PAL coaches, I've got a spin zone. He wanted to come establish his roots in a high school in Knoxville. We had nothing to do with it. He wanted to come establish his roots. So when he gets to Tennessee and he's working on NIL deals, he is
established.
He's a hometown guy.
There you go.
That's why I wanted to be here. We don't know how he ended up here, but that's what he told us when he got onto campus. We didn't talk to him until he was enrolled. And that's what he told us.
Hometown, born and raised.
He wanted to be a hometown guy. We don't know how he ended up in North Knoxville. Housing market's crazy, but they found a house in PAL somehow.
There you go.
You did see Tennessee trending. You knew he was coming to East Knoxville, or you knew he was coming to East Tennessee, so you knew the announcement was going to be coming soon. And today, sure enough,
PAL.
Yeah, that's what's funny is like you heard. Well, I mean, when that rumor, like someone dropped that rumor, what month or two ago, that he might be coming to East Tennessee.
Yeah, it was a while ago,
and I was expecting Catholic. Like that made a ton of sense. And then
because I mean, no offense to PAL, no offense to 5A, but yeah, there's better competition being played in Catholic's division.
They can also recruit the rules at TWSAA.
Right. But they play McCauley, they play
or offer scholarships. I don't know if they can recruit. Yeah.
Brentwood Academy, teams that put out a lot of D1 players year in and year out.
Right. And so I thought that was the easy one. Then you see all this stuff start trending, and I'm like, oh, well, he's probably going to be in East Tennessee. Sure enough, Mark Packer just dropping the bombshell today.
PAL. Yeah, I mean, like
Walter Nolen.
We kind of talked about it, like when that was rumored. You're like, oh yeah, Catholic, maybe Maryville.
Maryville probably would have made more sense than PAL. No offense to PAL, but I mean, if we're talking about like,
but that's not Maryville's kind of. That's not their go-to, right? They don't.
No, but if someone was like, I'm going to transfer to East Tennessee to play football, everyone knows Maryville and Alcoa.
Oh yeah,
that's what
I agree. Yeah.
So
And 6A, like if you're not playing in the division that Catholic is, you want to go play in 6A, competition-wise.
Yeah, for sure. Jesse Smith just put out an article and said that somebody in Memphis confirmed that
Okay.
he's coming. So I know it's already been confirmed, but there has been an article written about it now.
Let's go, dude. I won my bets today.
On Walter Nolen coming to Powell?
No, that was not a bet. Nope. Not getting me with that one. No, I did the Dodgers Giants money line parlay. That hit. Got the 50% profit boost on DraftKings. Shout out. And then I did the over in the Chicago White Sox and Brewers game, and that hit.
Love it. I didn't make any bets today. I kind of wanted to bet on the Olympics, but I haven't looked into it much, so not sure.
Don't bet on the basketball team. Actually, I did win a bet with the basketball team. I picked them first quarter money line and won. They're great in the first quarter. Everything else, trash.
Love it. All right. We got some questions.
We did have a question.
I got one here from Graham real quick.
Okay.
If and when you get to basketball, what do you think of Kentucky offering Cason Wallace late in the recruiting cycle?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to throw their name in the hat, but I think it also has to – I think Tennessee has established that relationship, and they offered a lot earlier. That has to say something to that kid like, hey, you're pretty important over here at Tennessee. And also, we just beat Kentucky out for a five-star point guard the year before. So,
yeah, and I mean, I think Kentucky too kind of has the luxury of being able to get in late and still being an effective, pitch. So I don't think it necessarily, it doesn't elevate Tennessee's chances a ton, but Tennessee has been in it for a long time. So I don't think Kentucky getting in on it hurts Tennessee that much.
Yeah,
maybe.
We did have one question. It was, if you could only go to one game at Neyland this fall, which one would it be?
I'm going to Ole Miss.
It's
a winnable game, and it's going to be fun.
Yep. A lot of storylines in that one.
And storylines.
Obviously Lane Kiffin, but I think the high-powered offenses, too, going up against one another is going to be something to see. It's going to be a new thing for Tennessee to be considered a high-powered offense because that's something we have not seen in a long time. So, since when was the last time we had a high-powered offense? Tyler Bray?
You might be able to say 16 was high-powered. I don't know.
That's true.
Look at the stats.
That's probably true. I would probably. I mean, he had a ton of weapons.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'd probably say that was pretty high-powered. Yeah, 2016. Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, just think the last time we had a high-powered offense, me and you could not drink.
Yeah, I was good drinking in 16. We could both drink in 16.
That was our first year.
I drank a lot in 16. A lot.
That was our first year to be able to drink. That's right.
You tackled a deer.
It's 2021. I did tackle a deer. That was weird.
I wasn't there for that.
Not a real deer. It was a fake one.
We'll let the people decide. You decide.
I thought it was fake.
That'd be a great story if it was real somehow. In fact, I even got close to it. Okay. Any other questions?
No. So it looks like Jesse Smithy confirmed with Walter's dad that he is enrolling.
A Memphis reporter confirmed with Walter's dad. Yeah, I've got the article here. Really not much new except do with this information I'm just going to say the information. You all can speculate. I'm not going to speculate on it, but Jesse reached out to Powell head coach Matt Lowe and also administrators, and no response.
Okay.
So do with that what you will.
Okay.
He also reached out to Walter Nolen and no response. So do with that what you will.
He hasn't hit the practice field yet, so
he's
not. I'm not saying it's 100% done until he's in a Powell uniform. How about that?
I'm with you. I mean, his dad did say it though.
Yeah. He will be in Neyland Stadium in 2.5 weeks.
If he's on the roster.
If he's at Powell, yes.
There you go. All right. Most important of the week.
Most important. I only got one.
I have one too.
It's Monica Abbott. through 4
Love it.
games, the Lady Vol legend in the Olympics is leads the Olympics in the following categories: innings pitched with 17, ERA 0.00, a lot of zeros, strikeouts 28, complete games 2, saves 2. Just a freaking stud. I mean, I know it's softball, but she's got to go down as one of the best athletes to come through.
For
Tennessee.
sure.
So props to.
How many gold medals does she have? Do you know? 3?
A ton. 3?
Love it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it sucks that you can only get 1 in
can only
softball,
get
whereas
one,
swimming
yeah.
you can get like 25, or
Right.
in gymnastics
Well,
you can do the same
To
thing.
be
too.
fair, to get a ton, and just like gymnastics, like you have to
You have to be
have
on
to
top of your
give it-
game. Yeah.
not that. I mean, just like the energy you have to give on any given day, like those races and stuff are those like back to back to back.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not
it's nuts
taking
to
anything
me.
away from Biles or
I mean, no,
Michael
you're
Phelps.
right that it's much you physically cannot do it in softball. Like there's only one given out.
Right.
Whereas swimming, they're at least there. But it's still like insane to win more than one.
Yep.
Insane.
What you got?
My first one is the Savannah Bananas baseball team. I think they are like a summer league team too now. I think they used to be minor league. Bill Leroy, which sounds like a baseball player from 60 years ago, but he is not. He is at the University of North Georgia right now. He announced himself walking to his at bat. Did you see this video?
I did see that. That's
Dude,
pretty cool.
freaking electric. And then throws the mic. I'm like, this isn't a bat flip, homie.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love that they had like the catcher's like, is that you? He looks at him like,
Sir, are you going to hit with that thing?
play ball.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was a good one. I actually do have one more, but I don't know how to explain it well. But did you see the elim ending? So most elim endings, which is how the basketball tournament ends their games, typically the team leading wins. Like that's just the way it goes. Always a Brave, whatever team that is, beat the Hoopville Warriors. It was the first to 74. And at one point they were up 72-63, and Always a Brave, who had 63, ended up winning 74-73.
Dang.
Yeah. It was nuts.
Yeah, Tennessee's team was terrible.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Moving on. Fail of the week. Not Tennessee's team. Fail of the week.
Fail of the week. And this isn't really like, it's not a big fail of the week. I just thought it was funny. The basketball team with their shirts off. No East Ponds. So it wasn't that impressive anymore. Or Admiral Schofield, for that matter, was and Grant were pretty jacked. This team, I think, is going to be very guard heavy from the looks at them with their shirts off flexing.
I like that.
Also, Justin Powell looks 15 years old. And
like he's never seen the sun.
yes, which may be a good thing. He's just in the gym, dude, getting his
Fair.
game on.
Maybe a good thing. I have a couple stupid stuff. I don't really have any fails.
It's up to you. If you want to roll it out there, or we can save it, or
I think I'm gonna save that one for stupidity. I do have like I don't know if this is exactly a fail. Did you see the kayak race to get a home run ball at San Francisco the other day?
No, I didn't.
So it's 2 guys like racing for a home run ball in the bay, and they collide.
Nice.
But like the one guy clearly beats into the ball, the other guy hits him, and he's pissed about it. He's like pissed that he got in the way. I'm like, you knew what you were doing. I just don't get why you get mad about that stuff.
Right.
People are stupid.
Yeah.
I hate people. So maybe that's stupidity too.
There you go.
Also, the whole like kayaking in the bay for maybe a chance. Like, how many home runs actually go into the bay? It can't be many.
Yeah, there's no way it even accounts to 1 a game.
No way.
Like you might get one.
Maybe.
That's all I got.
That's it, guys. It's been a good one. Appreciate y'all listening. We'll be back Thursday night, new slot, same time, different day.
Yeah, Bojangles on out there next to Powell. If you listen to this, hey, just get ready. We're calling on you to do the Lord's work.
Drive-through is about to be
Do the
hot.
Lord's work for us.
Yep.
That's all we got. We're bringing the boat in.